Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
Sé Claare na Gael viscoltoir carnish as smile me o saltige. My name is Robert Cutincaswell, Robert the Cartelach.
Have I heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
And the name of this bilingual programme is Claare na Gael, with part of it in the English language as Leis Pertelja G Sagilg, and with another part of it in the Manx Gaelic, Chinyanamera, the mother tongue of Elin Vanning, the Isle of Man. As Bannachten dut Rish. There were celebrations attached to Laa Luanys, the first day of the month of Luaniston, or August, and that name is connected with a Celtic god. Another name for this time of year is Lammas, or Lammastide, though that's not a name deriving from a Celtic source. Such in day assigned je skiel ferish grim, a Kellach era, Teirgit leis Maxau Ri, de gedden a Kellach era, chummas Carval era, as Ben Frinsellen a Chastiel era, as Vashol leis Cuna je Shinnach, rent Salsich amacht in Dunyeeg and acht a Yinoi. For in Fruniach last Tuesday, Irish singer from Gweedore, Cachal O'Curran, sang about a 3-day-a-week bus service from outside his house in Gweedore in Donegal to Buchanan Street in Glasgow. There are strong ties between Donegal and Glasgow and lots of commuting, and looked at from the Glasgow end, it's the road to Donegal. Tawas geestiach rish Radio Vanning, Stasiwn and Asiwn, visgol skeiliamach vai Dúlish, Elin Vanning.
Summer, there's a longing in my heart. Time seems slow in passing, but I can't wait to start. Watch the children gather as we all did before, to make that summer journey to Gweedore. Oh, would you hurry, said the driver, we can make the boat in time. The crossing, it was easy, to Glanching we to climb, from Dungiven on to Derry, and around by Innishow. Just a few more miles and then we'll soon be home. Is the morning never coming, 'cause I never slept at all? My mind is always thinking of that road to Donegal. It's the best of Ireland's treasures, for me a place apart. It's always on my mind and in my heart. We would go to Letterkenny, I leave Creeslaw far behind, Port na Blah and Pashapaven, Dunfanaghy to find. Onwards through Claare, on the road beside the shore, on around by Bloody Fall and to Gweedore. With the neighbours there to greet you, that you've not seen for a while, they say that you're not changing, and it always makes you smile. There's a welcome there before you, like you never saw before. Oh, it feels so good to be back home once more. My mind is always thinking of that road to Donegal. It's the best of Ireland's treasures, for me a place apart. It's always on my mind and in my heart. Is the morning never coming, 'cause I never slept at all? My mind is always thinking of that road to Donegal. It's the best of Ireland's treasures, for me a place apart. It's always on my mind and in my heart.
Cathal Curran singing in his second language, English, as he's from the Gaeltach, the Irish-speaking area of Gweedore in Tir Connell or Donegal. Lammas-tide, or Lammas, is a slightly broad term being associated with the harvest and falling in a range which can be as late as the 1st of September, but it commences with the 1st of August, and it was the Anglo-Saxon Llaafmas, the mass associated with the llaaf, the loaf. The significance of it was that the loaf was made from the first grains from the harvest. So that's the Anglo-Saxon Llaafmas, the loaf mass or Lammas. The festival was known in England and Scotland at some times as the Gael of August, and one suggestion is that it's a transliteration of the Welsh Gael Aust, Festival of August, which is similar to the Breton Gael Aust, the Feast of August. The 1st of August is also associated with St. Peter ad Vincula, St. Peter in chains, and that's marking the time when St. Peter was miraculously freed from his fetters and walked out of imprisonment when an angel appeared to him. And that's according to chapter 12 of the Acts of the Apostles, and the day it took place was the 1st of August. Gouds van den jeeg markiach de valje a chabel merish ben frinsel en a gastjelere as lesja gellagere, renkat balje beg tjira, aan beduinje de wei corrit en graai, son en olkes. Ach, she brerig en shinne a den jeeg waan. Renne je roet korle chinnach, gin de channach a weg de veel a graai, as renne gikker en son de wei livreid. Lug tamelt henkert gus a Gael, want even shinnach a jitten in gwel hoiacht, as we gevoer as ko fasti nice galen larsen a grenia, de rennen devre grey, ligt een gol fee on shore is tamelt beg rish a truan, as gauw be as joch de oerige shineen. Renne den jeeg jeroed na chorle chinnach, gin de vene hai rish oer struan erby, as renne corre heen na hai rish oer truan, gin aures erby jaolkus. Ach, renne devre saie gaure gromme, as stjachse truan, renne goil greim jen ven frins, jen chavel, as jen chellach, as hiet de valje gus an airok. I've long loved the music of a trio from Wales, brother, sister and cousin, Roy and Linda Griffiths and John Gittins, who performed together as Plethin.
Cascadivum lentintus, cascadivum lentintus, cascadivum lentintus, caegas gitam labore, caegas gitam labore. Glywyd i'r gwyn sa'i hwyr gan dris, glywyd i'r gwyn sa'i hwyr gan dris, glywyd i'r gwyn sa'i hwyr gan dris, mae gist yn llawn gofidiau, mae gist yn llawn gofidiau. Fe ddaeth glan gai am drwm a'i droed, fe ddaeth glan gai am drwm a'i droed, fe ddaeth glan gai am drwm a'i droed, llwybrau'r coed a'n wache. Os daw dy dad yn ôl o Ffrainc, os daw dy dad yn ôl o Ffrainc, os daw dy dad yn ôl o Ffrainc, roddai'r gain caratane, roddai'r gain caratane. Casgadi fy mlentyn tlws, casgadi fy mlentyn tlws, casgadi fy mlentyn tlws, cael gysgu tan y bore, cael gysgu tan y bore.
A Welsh lullaby beautifully sung by Plethin, Cysga di fy mlentyn tlws, sleep thou, my pretty child. Nofel sio y celach era tashin corlian, dwrtad trerenca tai, as ingen yst and cabel era, as ben prince a chastiel era. Eich va boga moor sa chastiel rioil, a charena cabel, fasache, charena celach chirpel, as van ben prince na shadow geleeltes as spikenia. A charawa bresa eng eden bes, van struwen through deich vai, chirrum, as renne tujum kenach vug, gin gedden arre je veide. Ach, a dodde irirish. Ach, san argesege, harawa shinach firrenjach kailte. Henke as rai desen, as renne al tuna, drawe en jeru de cholegge. Ach, a nodum tregelus on shenna zolju durre. Niem kuna liat de chas na mach rish voor seisje na grenia. Maar zo dintje den dunje eg, de royal graim jen famanege, as de chommel rish de chan, as maar zo renne tarne nis rish. The Manx name for the month of August is Luanyston, and that's a name that connects it with the Celtic god Lugh. There are associations here with Manannan, because Lugh was the foster son of Manannan, and Lugh also went on to wield Manannan's sword, Fregarach, the answerer, and Manannan also gave Lugh his horse, Enbar of the flowing mane, able to go over land or sea, as well as his coracle, a scuba tunya, a scabard a ton, the wave sweeper. Lugh held an assembly, the Lunasa, in honour of his mother, perhaps an earth goddess, whose cycle of life and death brought the harvest. Lunasa is sometimes given as the wedding or betrothal of Lugh, perhaps including the equivalent of the Manx nasht there, Lunasa, betrothed, of the Manx nasht, betrothed there, rather than the assembly. Lunasa is sometimes given as the wedding or betrothal of Lugh, perhaps including the equivalent of the Manx nasht and betrothed. One of the elements of the Lunasa was hand fasting, when couples could enter trial marriages for a year, and if they didn't work out, they could walk away from it the following year. And that was music by the excellent Sandy Breakin, who dressed up as a pirate as he played for the sea-themed Gael, who dressed up as Admiral Breakin for Songs of the Sea, and later as Parahandy, so he was in fine good form with Sandy Breakin. Siodat stasiwn yn asiwn, radio fanim, a sé Claare na Gael was scolar sgelia ma cartnish, Pín, Robert Gudin Garswell, Robert a Carslach.
Have you heard tell of owl Bobby Bob?
De Gael dot clash en Claare na Gael rees a chachten lugt je guller sgelia maach, trud in a degger radio vanning as een chraman eis rees. De podcast gierig had nasty trud in a degger radio vanning nies, na trud kjerider een podcast elia, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, na Alexa. The idea and practice of hand fasting seems to have been the essence of the Manx celebration of Luanys, which had tended to move from the 1st of August to the day of rest after that date, when people would be free from work commitments, so that would be the first Sunday after the start of the month. However, whatever the clergy might have thought of the situation of the celebration associated with the 1st of August, it was made much worse from the Church's point of view when it became associated with the first Sunday of August. So much so that in 1732 the curate and wardens of the parish of Lonnon made a representation to the ecclesiastical court. The curate and wardens represent to the court that there is a superstitious custom which is yearly continued and practised in this and the neighbouring parishes by many young people, and some of riper age, going to the top of Snaefell Mountain upon the first Sunday of August. Fos chanelw de sled nas de gulju gauw door de shinnachrische den jeeg. Tan na breirich yn ed, nôl fel het sigge me gion de wijs, chor ulju me giet de geel aarderen, as te arw cor gebesu me wissel ligge dot heen wei fagenit. Va dunje bach was jul na daien, na hai ljorish a chadan, as renne dunje eeg, kundra komrichen lesh, as haie komrits an achsjen gus close castjelerie. Awen ag pech a gauw a kellach toich der chirpel, as gauw a kabel toich der fazache, as renne wen frins eilen square by Kenia. Crevis a bunje shaw doterie, as eshen goliendes. Dregger a wen frins. Genodum grey, limme de raumi trimshach as nish tammy bogoil. Dus te mar de beg a dunje pussy kjaardem jitbak. Esh dinchi de ulju verhagert. Ged rauwe de vre bagger ori de jinnat korge besi, de jinnachilje gemach visserby. One of the many highlights of Uncroniac this year was the performance of Dublin-based band Philly, but Katie and Declan are from the United States of America, and so they perform an American version of a very widely travelled song, The Nightingale.
Together spring, to see the water glide and hear the nightingale sing. To see the water glide and hear the nightingale sing. To see the water glide and hear the nightingale sing. To see the water glide and hear the nightingale sing.
Philly and their blockbuster performance of The Nightingale. Eis huggery Sarah, de rout de chulje veg wons a chastel de vei currit rosh, as marriage na Firelia, Henk de Nieg, gurish fair verschul na dien, ons nedien bach de egge. Ach va en egge ben frinser, as huggy banach vaiersen, as ish cornereichen ek me gita wannel, as cor pagan day. But a drach brerigen gotch, as wat courage gebes, as Henke bre said de vei pusht je ben frins, as Henke gus erach en ere egge. Ach kremach jon en chinach bach. Treban dun je ege vraiach je, kreve giri mor ounders on a chuna, vraiach shinach je, tre jinnach ad chit gus a cheel, de varaway as de jara vai a chion is a chadden. Ach, van dun je eeg niauw arltach de junusjen. Ach, foden a san mi va mackerie gol through de geel, as Henke shinach na wheel, as doorte. Nish te de chulje nie ed, son fudde u bushel, ach, na wel na arges nem arach chitke kjon. Now, was the fact that many young people, and some of riper age, were going to the top of Snaefell Mountain upon the first Sunday of August, that perhaps doesn't seem too much to complain about, although I suppose it means that they might have missed the Sunday church service, in which case they would have a gripe. The curate and the wardens of the parish of Lonnon, though, quickly revealed the cause of their complaint. These parishioners go to the top of Snaefell Mountain, where, they said, as they are informed, they behave themselves very rudely and indecently for the greater part of the day. Therefore, they crave that the Reverend Court may be pleased to order what method must be taken to put a stop to this profane custom for future. And the Ecclesiastical Court ordered that publication be made yearly on the 2 last Sundays in July by the minister for the time being, after the Nicene Creed, that whoever shall be found to profane the Lord's Day after this wicked and superstitious manner shall be proceeded against with severe ecclesiastical censures. Earlier this year, Manx fiddle player Isla Collister was one of the musicians invited to an inter-Celtic project working with Breton musician and singer Alain Stivell. Well, here in his younger days, Alain Stivell plays the harp with Breton singer Andrea Aguille.
Power
Nini Agaron, the one that I love, a song sung by Andrea Argwyl, accompanied on the harp by an 18-year-old Alan Coshvalou before he became the source or the spring Steve L. The ecclesiastical court order finished off by saying that the minister and wardens are hereby required to do their utmost in discovering the persons guilty in this particular, and to make presentation thereof. Well, it seems that this didn't have much effect. Writing in the Folklore of the Isle of Man in 1891, A.W. Moore writes, "Such methods did not avail against this superstitious and wicked custom, and in vain, too, did Bishop Wilson fulminate against it, as it was quite common 70 years ago, and is not quite extinct yet." I say he was writing that in 1891, and the visiting academic John Rhys wrote in Volume 2 of his folklore, also in 1891, though he may well have got it from A.W. Moore. "If you ask the reason for this custom now, for it's not yet quite extinct, you're told first that it's merely to gather lingberries, i.e. blueberries." He writes that, although they're known as blaeberries here in the island, coming from the Scandinavian source. Ach, dwrt y sinach rishmacari, te na lai ons de fŵr de livremi vai ma argesen. As Ceirdelia ren I gwi de gian macari de varaway as de jare vai a chion as na cadanege. Maar so va jare renne cordeel. As gelees vai gintege van sinach kachleit de vei na gunje, as koi vei ach brer a ven frint zeilen, as mar so vai ligget ser vai obvious vai na lai ersen rish tamelt 4 ljouwer. As nish de jarrow harau vegre laal se vaners och truut maagd na leenoch. As shen jerre a skielmachon a kellach era. De kaint oshig san askiel nis visemmisit a moda as a sparrow. Tred er au va moda kerach on, as van mansjäger gimmerke de holkrish, as ha dugge bide loerde hi, as tre kunte agris, ha dat de surra lene soja, dege en shirweishege, as fi trimshach. So tred henke kwel sparrow, doort, Wode, ma vrer, gren vet hau ho trimshach. That was the Orcadian duo Saltfish 40, and they gave an absolutely wonderful performance in Peel last night. Stasiwn yn asiwn dyn ei sio Radio Fanning, y sio dat Claare na Gael. She Robert Gytyn Carswell mish Robert y Carslach.
Did the ever hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Hug y modd y fregert yn sparrow. Ta agres orm as chanel begem dy hi. Eis dwr y sparrow, my brer been, ta merem stiach sy balia, nim gedden paltje der dan. Eis haiad rechelia stiach sy balia, as de lia henket gespoeg wutjur, as dwr te sparrow risje bode. Tanny yn sio, chawd tam I sheena noostet sleg falla. As hugge je heen de haier a weg, Jiche me giet de yin er au pecher bi gol taaste je, as renne spulge, as tarn, as slede, goud de greim, van de life as de oire woord, de renne verjere, tujem gus a tallo. Renne mode troggle nise, renne reist jaag lesh on zuljen, as renne slugge suse. Eis doet de sparrow, Nis ta merem gus boeg elia, as nim getting the hon grem elia, the be sayed look the agres. Trevon boda any na grem, vry a sparrow jay. Boda ma vre, wel sayed nish. John Rhys goes on to say that now and then a quasi-religious reason is given, namely, that it's the day on which Jephthah's daughter and her companions went forth on the mountains to bewail her virginity. Somehow some Manx people make believe that they are doing likewise. And he leaves it at that, because in those days knowledge of the Bible would have been generally wider than it is now. So we'll turn to the story of Jephthah's daughter in the Bible, where it can be found in Judges chapters 11 and 12. Jephthah is an illegitimate son, and he's exiled, and he becomes a bandit leader. However, when Israel was attacked by the Ammonites, he was asked to fight for the country. He came back, and he did so on the promise that he would return from exile. As he was about to set out to confront the Ammonites, he sought holy assistance, and he promised that whatever came from his house as he returned home would be the Lord's, and that it would be a burnt sacrifice. Now this is perhaps unseasonal from Manx band Claare, but they sang it last night at Cruniach, so this is Teggy Teggy. clashbua teggy teggy. As Jephthah returned to his home after his successful battle against the Ammonites, he was thinking of the fulfillment of his promise. However, it was his daughter who came out first to meet him. So it was that Jephthah explained to her that he'd made a promise to God that he had to fulfill, and that she would be the sacrifice to God. Jephthah's daughter accepted that she would go to the Lord in this way, but she asked for time so that she and the women of Israel could go to the mountains and bewail her virginity, which is the way the Bible puts it, which is to say that her lament was that she'd never be able to marry and have children, dying so young. But of course the clergy was scandalized that some people were taking bewailing virginity in rather too literal a way. Biblical scholars say a human sacrifice to God would not have been acceptable anyway, and that she lived a life dedicated to God in a different way, like a nun, whilst the burnt offering was made in the usual way. But the women of Israel continued to go to the mountains each year to bewail Jephthah's daughter's virginity. De feische sparrow dregger a mother, te saie dem benten de veel, ach genel aran beem. Eis door de sparrow, shen bieds nis tam erem. As renne ligelig as bweg funnide, as renne spulga rola aran na ge der a hutja der a tolu. As noder our mother fos giri tulju, hiad gas bweg elia beggan na soja ai, as hurad tulju aran. Treva sjogent, door de sparrow, Vodem a vre, wel saie dead fos. Te, dregere, as nish nimmert shul beggan chamui gen valia. As hiad regelia rish a red moor. Shemshir chebon, as treverd an ol put gen red door de mother. Tammy ski, as bavaliam cormi heen malai as cadla. Well, jinshen door de sparrow, son a tre ton, nim cormi heen mahai fagus dutch bangan. Hug a mother heen the lie, so red, as hutch cadla tromer. For the word arnen, Archibald Cragene says in his dictionary, work done in the night by candlelight. The Irish have this word for task. So that's according to Archibald Cragene, and this is an Irish band who are called Arnen.
Kwartil she's galski se fado again. Tabono silly samishelo me. Tanakali clear sansil in the color.
Irish band Arnain, sitting, Tammy Mahai, while they take Murray's Potion. Gouds van more than a lie na chadless a red, Henk immer nach Carlaedig sen, les Carlaedig as 3 kavelegge, luchtig les de wollig de fin. As van sparrow fagen, na rauwe cheech in der aliadi, ach, der rauwe freurish gull a bollach cajun, cat red van more than a lie. The carnal celebration, I suppose you call it, a bit of a carnival, as complained of by the clergy of Laa Luanys, the first day of August, later of the first Sunday in August, and of course there's also the 11-day gap between the modern and the unreformed calendar, so there's another possibility for it. That survived into the late 19th century and even into the 20th. Some reports say that they found that the most effective way to clear the mountain of people was to go and preach and then take a collection there. That cleared the mountains in no time. Chris Pearson is your host from 7 to 9, bringing the best of music for a Manx Radio Sunday chill-out. And at 9 o'clock, Judith Lay will be presenting Sundown. Gael closes with music from Welsh mother and daughter. Delith and Anghara Jenkins played a beautiful concert in the Royal Chapel in St John's on Friday evening. Ach, Sinead, as more from me, Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Oh, Bobby Bob.
I'd like to wish you a very good night. Eve I'm a Chriort, as Duts, my Yerian share.
Thank you.